What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNV Driversedition, and today we got a hot topic for you. Well, I guess the topic really is, I've been asked, why am I looking at Aston Martins? I guess that's a great question, so I guess it's decides to give you guys an answer. I'm looking to move to Corvette C8 because just realistically, I had another video come out about it. I don't know if you saw it, but honestly, at this point, me upgrading from a C8 to a C8 Z06 or even an E-Ray, because although I'm very critical of the E-Ray, I will be 100% honest with you. I am not opposed to owning one because I would do some things different with it. And I don't think it's a bad car. I just want people to understand that it's in a certain space. So when I look at the discounts being offered on the E-Ray, it makes it almost a good purchase. But I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and say I'm going to buy the car because it's the best performance car or it's better than Z06. Because in my opinion, based off everything I've seen and how I would use the car, it's not. But we're not here to have that conversation. So the reason why I've been looking at Aston Martin DB11s is because I like to own unique cars that you don't see every day. But I'm also not afraid to own the cars that everybody say you shouldn't own because they're scared of the risk of ownership. So the reason why I'm choosing the Aston Martin DB11 is because it's one of the rarest cars you can actually find. If you actually go back and take a look at the whole DB11 process, or should I say production cycle, they barely made 6,000 cars. So when you look at it from that point of view, and everywhere I go, I really don't see an Aston Martin DB11. And then when you go to the V12 edition, which you get mixed reviews because some people say the V12 will break down more. Some people say the V8, because it's based off the Mercedes AMG GT platform, is the safer route to go if you're going to get an Aston Martin. And honestly, they're starting to transfer that Mercedes-Benz AMG GT V8 engine across all models, including the DBX, the Vantage, and the DB11, and now the even new DB12. It makes sense. But for me, like I said, I like to take risk, and I like to do, or should I say, own things that everybody wouldn't own. So for myself, I've been looking more at the V12 Aston Martins. I've went out and taken a look at a couple, but the funny thing about it is because these cars are now, or should I say, because the V12 engine is no longer being made, these cars are now selling like hotcakes. I've test driven, went out and looked at, to be honest with you, about 7 of these cars. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's all come down to the numbers, the location that has the car, and what they're offering with the car. Because some locations, and yes, I say this now, there are dealers still trying to add on hidden fees to purchases. So I've looked at Aston Martins where they've been like, oh, you can buy the car, we're offering it for $92,000, but we also have on this permaplate / ceramic coating option that we put on all our cars to protect the paint, and they want to charge you $39.95 for it. Or you get we have the service plan that will allow you to get your first 2 or 3 oil changes on the vehicle, which the car requires an oil change once a year or every 10,000 miles. But they will cover your first 3 oil changes, and they will also come get your car within a 50-mile radius. But I'm looking at a car that's out of state, and they still want me to pay $39.95 for this package. Now, don't take it the wrong way. An oil change if all you're getting is a oil change, is around $700-800 depending on the location. So the $39.95 is kind of fluffed with pricing, but I guess if you look at, you don't know what oil prices are going to be tomorrow, it may seem like a good deal, but for me it's not. So the more I go around these cars, I've only found one or two that were really fairly priced to what I could actually afford, but the color schemes wasn't that great. I mean, I'm not a fan of the blue on blue. I'm not a fan of the black on black. It just doesn't push me or make me feel, I feel that's so bland. Let me just say it like that. But when you look at these cars and when you drive these cars, what I want you to understand is the Aston Martin DB11 V12 pushes out 600 horsepower and about 512 pound-feet of torque, which is more than the Corvette. I've driven the cars on the street and on the highway, and I'll be honest with you, this car has enough torque and power that it breaks traction at 60 miles an hour. That was kind of scary because I wasn't expecting that. So it's not the same Planet Agile beast as the C8, but it just means it's going to be a more engaging drive. Am I a little concerned about it in tight turns? Maybe a little, but I still like the car. And if you take a look at this car, the interior is luxurious. My biggest concern is the technology is slightly out of date, but it's the same technology from the Mercedes-Benz of a 2017 or 2018 Mercedes-Benz. So it's not terribly out of date, but it is dated. But for what I'm looking for with the car, I really don't utilize the infotainment system like people actually believe. I drive more using my phone, meaning I play the music off my phone. I play everything through my phone. As long as it can Bluetooth connect, I feel like I'm great. And as long as I can control the volume and the sound system is great, I'm cool. But that becomes another issue for me because I also find myself looking for the upgraded sound system on the Aston Martin because the standard sound system doesn't sound that great. So there's a couple challenges that come along with me trying to get an Aston Martin. But I will say this to you. When you actually get inside this car, if you are a luxury car owner, if you like the prestigeness of leather interior, handcrafted leather interior, like top tier luxury, you can't argue the Aston Martin's luxury. It made me feel like when I sat in it that the leather inside my Corvette was a joke. The craftsmanship and the fine tuning of things inside that car was just at another level. And that really started to appeal to the luxury side of me that I love. Or should the side of cars I love with the luxurious side. Sound like a tongue twister, huh? But at the end of the day, I guess what I'm saying to you is the reason why I've been looking at an Aston Martin is because it's not all about performance with me. I really do like grand touring vehicles, which is part of the reason why the Corvette has always appealed to me. And I like grand touring vehicles with performance. The Aston Martin having 600 horsepower puts the performance factor into it. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The car I really wish I would have bought, and what's making it hard for me now with the Aston Martin process is these cars have been selling so quickly, I may have to look at something else because even in the conversation piece of working with a dealer and my bank and them having a conversation, they still, at this point in time, don't want to hold the car even though my bank says the deal is done, let me get paperwork over to you. So I'll give you an example. I went into the dealership, I was contacted by Aston Martin of Chicago. They had a beautiful blue Aston Martin DB12. The car had a tune on it. It also had an upgraded exhaust system. My salesman reached out and said, actually the sales manager reached out and said, based off what you were talking about, based on what you like, based off the YouTube channel and who you are, and because we've had long conversations, I have a relationship with this dealership. This is the car you want. Come in, take a look at it. I completely told him, if you say it's the car I want, I'll come in this afternoon, give me like 4 hours, and I'll go ahead and call the bank and let them know, send the information over with, so we can start the approval process. Do you know, within 2 hours, I got a text message saying, sorry, show, someone is here buying this car right now, but don't worry, man, be patient, we'll find you another one. That's crazy, but that has typically been the trend. Every Aston Martin I've liked that actually checked out, because I go look at them, put them on lifts. I've even talked to mechanics to tell me, because I'll be honest with you, people always tell you to get an inspection performed before you buy a car. These cars are selling so quickly that by the time you try to get an inspection scheduled to look at it, they're off the market. So I actually started talking to mechanics, service writers, and so forth, and they've given me a couple things to look for when I go look at them. So now when I see when I go in, I ask to put the car on a lift, and I'll check for certain things that I was told to look for from the mechanics. But like I said, by the time we can even get close to finalizing deals, and I know what you're going to say, it's crazy. Well, I used to sell cars, and I will tell you this right here. Just because you test drive a car and you and a salesman are working out a deal on the car doesn't mean somebody else in the building or on the internet does not have opportunity to buy that car. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I do commend the dealerships that don't allow that to happen, because I have been in talks on the phone about vehicles where they say, hey, we were working out a deal, but somebody is here at the moment looking, so they're putting us on the back burner to see if that person takes the car. Well, most locations, I can sit there and say that to you, Chicago doesn't work like that. That may be a courtesy in Texas. That may be a courtesy in North Carolina. That may be a courtesy in Florida. But that is not a courtesy you would get from 90% of the dealerships in the Chicagoland area. So you have to be aware of things like that. But honestly, I think if you're really looking to find a unique car, and like I tell you, it's okay to be unique, embrace your identity. The Aston Martin to me would be a symbolism of that. And like I stated before, I won't stop doing the Corvette content, but I will also share with you my ownership experience of that car if I happen to get my hands on one. But I am kind of fading into a place because I've given myself a timeline to find a vehicle, and that window is closing in rapidly. So I'm looking at a couple other options as well. And the more time goes past, because they're hard to find, especially in the price range I need to be, I may not get that Aston Martin DB11 V12. We'll just have to wait and see, because I'm not going to give up without a fight. But if there's any comments you have or any questions you got about what has really pushed me there that I didn't really comment on, hit me up in the comments below. ICNV Driver Edition. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the ICNV Driver Edition community. Like I stated before, we're an interactive community, which means if you hit me up on any one of my social media platforms or in the comments below, I'll do my best to respond. And if the topic you bring up is interesting enough, I will shoot a video on it. But don't forget, we were all made in his image, given dominion over the world, which means we weren't just meant to be. So chase your dreams, build your visions, never ever give up, and embrace your own identity. It's okay to be unique. He's not done with you, and he's definitely not done with me. We were all given gifts to help us become the best person we can possibly be. So step into your calling and share that experience with the world and let them see who you really are. Just remember to stay humble, stay focused, and stay blessed. And I'll see you in these streets. Peace.